All right, what's up guys? It's Carter from Clarity Auto Details, and today I have a brand new product from none other than the Rag Company, and that is their Ultra Black Sponge. Today we're going to be unboxing it, or more accurately, unbagging it, and then using it in a couple different ways. And I'm also going to compare it a little bit to the Big Red Sponge, which is what this is going to replace for a lot of people. So first things first is I'm going to just rip this bag open and get kind of a gauge, get my hands on it, touch and feel it, and tell you guys, what I think about that. So, yeah, this is nice. So it's a nice dense foam. It does feel very, very similar to the Big Red Sponge. It's got the same little slits and cuts in it to allow you to get around different things. But the first thing you're going to notice is the shape. It's got a nice shape with big contours for your hands, and then it's also got this point where it quite comfortably fits your three fingers up here, and then your pinky and your thumb can go into here, and it's really nice. It's very squishy, bends well, and it's also a very soft foam, which so far I'm really liking it. So let's talk a little bit about it and what it can be used for. So the Big Red Sponge, again, I'm going to talk about the Big Red Sponge a lot because this is kind of meant to almost replace it. So the Big Red Sponge is meant for rinseless washing, specifically with optimum no rinse. This can be used with soap and water at the same time, or not at the same time, but you can use the sponge with both soap and water. And the best thing about it is the same sponge can be used in soap, and the same sponge can be used in water and in ONR, or optimum no rinse. So you'll wash it with soap on it, and then you want to do an ONR wash. Just rinse out the sponge and go ahead with your ONR wash. Another thing about the Big Red Sponge is its shape. So I've actually got mine right here. It lives in ONR just like it's supposed to. Let me pull it out. I'll wring it out so it doesn't drip all over my table. So here's the shape of the Big Red Sponge. Again, you'll see it's got the slits, and it's big, and it's red. However, the shape is much, much different, as you can see. So here's the difference between the shape. I like this shape more so far. I'll see what I like about it after washing with it. But yeah, the shape is really, really nice so far. So I'm just going to set this back in the bucket since it's all wet. Now, as you'll see, I had to pull it out of the bucket because the Big Red Sponge is supposed to live in a bucket of ONR. That's just the way that it's supposed to work, and that's how you're supposed to get the best life out of your Big Red Sponge. The nice thing about the Ultra Black Sponge is that apparently it doesn't actually have to live in ONR. You can wring it out, you can dry it out, set it on your shelf, and that way you don't have to have an extra bucket of ONR lying around in your garage. If you're, a DIY person that doesn't want, 50 buckets laying around in your garage. I don't really mind having an extra bucket of ONR. I find it super, super useful to have an extra bucket of ONR. But it's kind of nice that this product can be taken out of the ONR, dried out, and just left on a shelf. So there's a couple of the key differences between the Ultra Black Sponge and the Big Red Sponge. This one is, of course, exclusively the Rag Company's. It's made by Lake Country. If you don't know who Lake Country is, they make fantastic foam polishing pads. Some really, really nice foam. And this one is Lake Country foam. So, yeah, it's, made by Lake Country for the Rag Company. This is a Rag Company product, whereas the Big Red Sponge, I believe that was an Optimum product. And it was not made by the Lake Country. I think it was just made by Optimum. I don't know who actually made the foam for the Big Red Sponge. I'm not sure, but this one is Lake Country, which that tells you right off the bat, very, very nice foam. So I've got two scenarios for us to use it in today. It's getting kind of toward the end of the day, so I waited toward the end of the day, because obviously you don't want to wash in direct sunlight or anything like that. But we've got a vehicle that I'm going to do a rinseless wash on, and then a vehicle that I'm going to do a soap and water wash on. And then after that, I will let you know my thoughts and impressions on this sponge. Okay, all foamed up. By the way, I don't know if you guys, if I said anything about it, but if you watch this channel, you know what soap I'm using. I'm using PNS Pearl. You can get it at theradcompany.com. Of course, just like, 90% of the products I'm using in this video anyway. So yeah, PNS Pearl, foams up great. As you can tell, it's diluted about 5-to-1 in the foam cannon. It's got a 1.1 millimeter orifice in it for my Karcher pressure washer. Works great, and 5-to-1 is a great dilution for me to get the perfect foam for what I like to use it for. So let's go ahead and get the ultra black sponge on the paint so that I can tell you what I think. So normally when I'm doing a 2-bucket soap and water wash, I'm using the Rag Company Cyclone wash mitt. This is my favorite wash mitt. It's just super high quality. However, today we're testing out this, the ultra black sponge. So let's get at it. Okay, and right away, it actually feels a lot softer on the paint than the Big Red sponge does. And it holds more actual liquid in it than a microfiber wash mitt would, which is obvious. It's a foam sponge. Of course, it's gonna hold more liquid in it than microfiber would. The slits do help a lot. And the shape, yeah, it is. It's definitely more contourable than the Big Red sponges, just because of that shape. It's definitely a more dense foam than the Big Red sponges. The Big Red sponge is a lot less substantial. This is a substantial sponge. With a sponge, I find that it really likes to get that. It holds a lot more soap and lubrication inside of it than a wash mitt does. So you let it go a little bit longer without actually dunking it and rinsing it and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, it looks pretty great. It's feeling nice so far. I'm going to finish this side and rinse it since we're very sunny right now and hot. One of the nice things I find though about PNS Pearl as a soap is that you can, at least in my testing, you can let it sit and bake in the sun and dry out completely and then go back over it when you're rinsing the car with literally no issues. That's what I've found, at least with it. You might not get the same results, I have no idea, but I would definitely recommend Pearl just because I get that kind of nice use out of it in the sun, at least. Because we are a mobile detailing company, so we need products that will work all right in the sun. And Pearl is one of those for us. It always has been. So, as I'm washing, I am noticing that it's very, very, very contourable. And it's much easier to hold in the hand. Like, I honestly didn't think this shape would do a whole lot to change that. But this sucker's much easier to hold in the hand than the Big Red sponges. It it just fits a lot better. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the car, and then I'll bring you guys in after the rinse, and then show you guys washing with Rinseless. Time to test out the Ultra Black Sponge with O&R on this car right here. I've already done the wheels and done a pre-rinse. So O&R, what is it? Optimum No Rinse. It's a rinseless wash product, meaning you don't have to rinse the paint after you've already applied it. So you just dry it right into the paint. Super convenient, great in the sun because it actually softens the water that's in the bucket when you put it in there. So you won't even get hard water spots if you let it dry on the paint. You know, just O&R, if you let that dry on the paint, you won't get water spots, you'll actually just get polymer spots. And it also leaves no residue behind, at least the blue O&R. The green O&R wash and wax, that is going to leave some wax behind, which is really great. But the blue O&R, that's what we're using today, leaves no residue behind. And it's super great. So as you can tell, this car is ceramic coated, as you can tell by the water beading, obviously. And we're going to go ahead and give the Ultra Black Sponge a shot. Normally in this situation I'd be using the Big Red Sponge, but now that we have the Ultra Black Sponge, I cannot wait to test it out. So the foam actually feels a lot softer now that we've got it in O&R. So that's pretty cool. It's way softer once it's in O&R, which is kind of strange, but it actually did the same thing for me with the Big Red Sponge. When I first took it out of the bag, it wasn't that soft, and I put it in O&R and it felt so much softer. So, as with O&R, normally you're gonna wring it out till it's on the verge of dripping so that you're not wasting product, and you're just gonna apply it. So O&R is great. You're not actually scrubbing anything in, you're just literally just applying the O&R to the surface. I can tell you right now, this feels really good. Like really good. Like this definitely deserves your attention. Yeah. Wow. This feels great. So the Big Red Sponge, I had no personal complaints with it. So when I saw that they came out with the Ultra Black Sponge, by the way, I'm just gonna use Bead Maker as a drying aid. It's great. Polymer sealant, super slick, super glossy, and safe on ceramic coating. And also a Rag Company Platinum Fluff to dry. But anyway, this is about the Ultra Black Sponge. So I had no issues with the Big Red Sponge. So when they released the Ultra Black Sponge, I was like, all right. I mean, I'll try it. Like, I don't see the need for it, but I'll try it. And so far, I feel like I was wrong. It's definitely worth the upgrade over the Big Red Sponge. To me, I think it's going to give you very similar results. Like, you could definitely get the same results with both, except obviously you can't use the Big Red Sponge in soap and water, which is, you know, that gives a leg up to this Ultra Black Sponge. But as far as actually using it in a rinseless wash, I think you can get just about the same results with both. Obviously both are very great products, and you know, there's nothing wrong with the Big Red Sponge. It'll still work just as good as it always has. But as far as this Ultra Black Sponge, yeah, I'm liking it. we sit down and chat about it, I'll tell you, all my thoughts on it. But for now, gets a big thumbs up for me. Okay, so Ultra Black Sponge versus Big Red Sponge. I mean, it's not really a versus video, but I mean, this is like the benchmark to compare it to. So I'm going to do a couple of quick comparisons. That's why I've got it here. You can kind of see them both. I'm actually noticing it now. They're the same footprint. They're just cut differently. If you can see, the top's cut a little bit different, and then you've got these bigger inserts for your hand. So it feels much, much smaller in the hand, but it's not actually any smaller at its longest point, or its longest point and its widest point, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so kind of getting my table all wet. They both just came out of some O&R. Anyway, so yeah, we just used them. Well, just used this for soap and water and for O&R, and wow, I gotta say, I do really, really like this sponge. I don't know what they did to it to make it different, but it's definitely different. It looks super similar in its construction. The slits are all cut out the same. The only visual differences that you can tell is the size, right? The different shape and size of it, and then the actual color. But other than that, you can't actually see any visible differences. But I can tell you this foam is definitely softer. It's a bit more squishy. It holds definitely more product, and I think, well, maybe not. It might be like a micron thicker. It feels thicker in the hand for some reason, but it's not really much thicker. But yeah, it fits in the hand much better when you squeeze it. There's a place for you to put your fingers on this one, where if you wanted to do the same setup on this, you'd be doing it like this, and it's not exactly comfortable like this, which is great. This is great for people with smaller or medium-sized hands, and even larger hands. Like I've got pretty big hands, and it fits in my hands great. This already did fit in my hands pretty well. I didn't really have a whole lot of complaints with the hand fitment of this, but this definitely feels way better. So yeah, I'm loving it. One thing that I didn't talk about in the intro is the color makes a huge difference, because this can get stained, this won't. So what happens with the Big Red Sponge is it does self-clean, right? You put it in the O&R bucket, and since it's foam, it's happy to let the dirt go. So the dirt falls to the bottom of the O&R bucket when you put it in the O&R. But it actually gets stained, so you'll see kind of grease stains on it. I've got one right about there. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but that kind of gets permanent once you get a little bit of grease or something like that on there. Whereas with this, you're not going to see that because it's black, which is really, really nice. And I like that fact a lot, because it's going to be looking cleaner longer with this one than this one. Plus, this one actually looks a lot more sleek, not going to lie. It looks pretty cool. But anyway, so when you rub your hand across the top of it, I feel a noticeable difference. This foam does feel a lot softer than this foam. So the Ultra Black Sponge definitely is a softer foam, no doubt. Not too soft that it's not aggressive enough to actually do some work and actually clean, but not so soft at the same time, but not so rough at the same time that it doesn't feel safe. Like it feels really safe when you're using it, and I have no problems with it. It feels like the safest sponge I've ever used on paint. Like I've used some cheap Meguiar sponges and those kinds of things when I was first starting out. Back when I didn't know any better, I used those cheap Meguiar sponges, and they didn't feel super safe on the paint. They felt kind of rough, a little bit squeaky almost. Don't run into that problem with this. You didn't run into that problem with this that much, but this, you definitely don't. Another thing, the shape. I know I've talked about the shape a lot. Yes, it fits in your hand better, but another thing is that it actually fits into different areas of the car a lot better. You got body lines, you got contours, you got grills that you have to work around. This contours and fits much better than the Big Red Sponge, just due to the shape and maybe partly due to the actual foam construction. Forgive me, I just splashed myself in the face, but maybe actually due to the actual foam construction. I don't know, but definitely the shape plays a big part in that. And I am really loving the shape for that. But yeah, basically, you need this product in your detailing lineup. That's my solid opinion. Now, I am a TRC Grand Ambassador, so technically we are sponsored by the Rag Company. However, they did not send this out. We purchased it, so it's not a sponsored video at all. This was not sent out by the Rag Company, so everything I'm saying, 100% my truthful opinion and thoughts on the actual product. So yeah, I do really like it, and I think it's a great step up from the Big Red Sponge. So yeah, it's a definite upgrade. If you have a Big Red Sponge, I would heavily consider upgrading to the Ultra Black Sponge, because it's just a better product, and it's better in a lot of ways than the Big Red Sponge is. And you know, like I said, while I was washing the Ford Fiesta with O&R, I've never had a problem with the Big Red Sponge. Like, I've always thought it was a good product, but this is a great product. So that's my opinion on the Ultra Black Sponge. I think a lot of people that didn't like this are gonna like this, just because of the shape, the feeling of it when you wash the paint. It feels a lot better than this does. It's a lot less cumbersome. It's a lot easier to actually use. And I think it's a great product that's going to be really perfect for a lot of people, especially with that versatility of using it for a soap and water wash. I think that's an awesome addition to the sponge, that this foam is safe, using it with soap and water, and then you can actually just rinse it out and dunk it in a bucket of O&R, and it's good to go for rinseless. So I really do love that about it, and I think even just that reason, for that reason alone, it's better than the Big Red Sponge and worth upgrading. But on top of that, you add the shape, the different foam construction, the fact that it's manufactured by Lake Country, so you know you're getting some of the best foam out there, the color, and it's the same price too, which is even better. So it's a huge upgrade for no extra money, which is another great thing. I think this was $20 on Amazon. This is also, I believe, $20 on Amazon when I bought it. So yeah, and this is a no-brainer. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. If you found that it was helpful and you want the Ultra Black Sponge, I will put a link to it down in the description to the Rag Company. You can use our coupon code Clarity15, and it'll save you 15% off of anything you buy from the Rag Company. That is, of course, excluding their wholesale cases, because their wholesale cases are all already discounted. And I think it might not cover their everyday value line, but this should be covered in that Clarity15 coupon code. So, again, theragcompany.com. Check out the Ultra Black Sponge. Use coupon code Clarity15, save you 15% off this bad boy, and use it. I guarantee you, if you have a Big Red Sponge, you'll love this even more. And if you hated the Big Red Sponge, you're still going to like this. I've talked to so many people already who have been saying exactly that. They've been saying they tried the Big Red Sponge when it came out, it wasn't for them, and then they saw this and they tried it, and this is just amazing for them. I've heard so many people say that. So honestly, try this product out. You won't be sorry. It's great with soap and water. It's great with Optimum No Rinse, and you don't have to let it live in a bucket and all the other fantastic reasons to buy this product. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.